Hello everybody and welcome to the video. Today we're going to be taking a look at week 2 of the 10th anniversary Holly Heroes event, where we're getting 24 weeks of Holly Heroes. Now this week we have a couple interesting choices: Fire Kung Fu Girl, Water Vampire, Wind Sylphid, Light Succubus, and the Dark Phantom Thief. Now, of course, like in the last video, I'm going to explain to you guys something. For those of you new players who are trying to choose one of these units and you're just not sure who to choose, think about it like this. Which of these units are more difficult to obtain? Of course, these main attribute ones, the fire, water, and wind ones, can be obtained through mystical scrolls, while obviously the light and the dark ones, the succubus and the phantom thief, can really only be obtained through light dark scrolls, or like Holly Heroes, right? But mystical scrolls are much easier to obtain. You obtain them at a much more frequent rate, and you could literally get them from just farming. I mean, heck, you could buy them in the guild shop for very little points. So, trying to aim for like the Fire Kung Fu Girl or the Water Vampire or the Wind Sylphid, I said vampire, or the Wind Sylphid is not recommended. Now, at the end of the day, it is a video game. Choose who you want to. But if you're trying to obtain just as many units as you can in this game, so one day when they are useful to you, you can actually use them, I suggest you aim for the light dark units. Because when that time comes and you need that light dark unit, it's there. When a new meta gets created or something like that, or a crazy team gets used and they're like, hey, use this Dark Phantom Thief or use the Light Succubus, you'll have them at your disposal. And you'll obtain most of these units anytime. But again, you're free to choose whomever. So for this video, we're going to be talking about mainly the Light Succubus and the Dark Phantom Thief, and which one out of the two is better. So let's go into the monster info and kind of look through these units. So the first unit that we're going to look at is Arya, the Light Succubus. Now the thing with Arya is, and I think this is going to kind of be the case with most of these Holly Heroes, is that each unit, like the light and dark, are going to be probably used in different places. Like one might be more PvP oriented and the other one PvE. Now, I'll be honest, this Holly Heroes week, I think the answer is really simple, but I'm going to try and be fair. I'm going to rate them as best as I can for what they're going to be in. So let's, for example, say the Dark Phantom Thief is better in PvE, while she's better in PvP. I'm going to rate her as if I'm talking about PvP, and I'm going to rate him as if I'm talking about PvE, right? I want to be completely fair and all that. Just let that out. So what we'll do is we'll go through her skills, go into the monster info, after we come up with a couple rune ideas, and again, where she's going to be used. And then we'll move on to the next unit. So, first thing before we get into the succubuses, or Arya, is that the succubus family, I think they're the only ones who could work with sleep really well. I mean, you could utilize sleep with most other units. I mean, you get like Alucia, you get the Heart Magicians, you get a couple of these units that can utilize the sleep debuff, like putting enemies to sleep. But the one thing that the sleep debuff has going against it is if that enemy receives an attack from anybody other than a succubus, it's like they wake up. So it's as if the skill really didn't do anything. You know what I mean? So it's kind of iffy, but thankfully the succubuses, they don't wake you up. It shows in all their skills. You'll see in the beginning of every single one of their skills, attacks without waking up the enemy that's under sleep. So just wanted to state that. You know, I have a little bit of a bias against the sleep debuff, but when it comes to the succubuses, they do a good job with that. Dreamy Invitation. Attacks without waking up the enemy that's under sleep. Puts the target to sleep for one turn with a 50% chance. Then they recover the attack bar by 50% if the enemy falls asleep after the attack. Oh, I had a little hiccup. So, and the harmful effect rate goes up once fully skilled up. So, this is a really good first skill, in my opinion. I mean, obviously, you have the whole part of the whole thing about the succubus is the sleep. They have that for, even if it's for one turn, when you see the rest of her kit and then you see the kit of everybody else in the Succubus family, which I implore you to do on your own time, one turn is going to be a lot. And recovers the attack bar by 50%. Like, holy crap. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's not insane, but it's, for what you're going to be using Arya for, which, let's be honest, you're probably going to bring Arya on a full Succubus team. That's probably what you're going to do. It's like, the skill works really well. Now, I mean, obviously the skill says recovers the attack bar by 50% if the enemy falls asleep after the attack. But, never mind, I'm not going to finish that thought. Anyway, skill 2, Strike of Rejection. Attacks without waking up the enemy that's under sleep, as always, and disturbs the HP recovery of the target for 2 turns and puts the enemy under sleep for 1 turn. Increases the damage by 50% if the target is asleep every 3 turns when fully skilled up. So, disturb HP recovery, meh. I mean, I don't really necessarily care for. I guess you could, I mean, there is usage for it. I mean, I can't deny that there have been times when it's like, I'll be fighting like a defense, like an arena defense, and I'll be like, at the very minimum, let me land this disturb HP recovery on Riley, because it's just like, I know I'm not going to be able to kill Riley, and I know she's about to get her heal up. If I could just prevent her from recovering her HP for this turn, I know I could kill her next turn. And then it works, obviously. And I win, right? Gosh, what was the matchup, I think, in that one? I literally have a specific memory. I think I had the Fire Panda Warrior, if I recall. Disturb HP recovery. Fire Panda Warrior, yeah, on his 3rd skill. And I somehow landed that shit. But he didn't kill, and I was like, I know I can kill next turn, but it's just like I have to wait. And she thankfully didn't violent proc out of it or whatever. But it's like, boy, it could come in clutch, but it's just like, it's whatever, right? Puts enemy under sleep for 1 turn. Again, really good. I'm glad that she has this on pretty much all of her skills. I think the main thing that most people are going to take away from this skill 2 is to increase the damage by 50% if the target is asleep. Which, obviously, with just that skill alone, I could tell you that most people are going to probably go like speed, crit damage, and then whatever slot 6 is going to be. I might, if I were to obtain Arya, I would like to see like what speed, crit damage, HP does. Because like I would want them to be like pretty tanky, but I'd also want them to do some damage. I feel like you could build her either way. You could build her on a really big damage build and do a lot of damage, or you could just build her support-ish, and then she just gets a little bit of extra damage from her skill 2. I don't know. I would build her speed, crit damage, HP just to see like utility, but you can go speed, crit damage, attack. I want to go attack, crit damage, attack. I feel like skill 2, speed, for sure, 100%. Like you want to, with all these succubuses, outspeed the enemy. But other than that, I mean, it's whatever. It's not that crazy of a skill. I mean, the damage increase is the really big part. Attacks without waking up the enemy that's under sleep. Puts all enemies under sleep for 1 turn, or 1 to 2 turns. Also reduces the attack speed of all enemies for 2 turns, and increases their chance of landing a glancing hit for 2 turns. Every 4 turns when fully skilled up. So, first things first, AoE sleep for 1 to 2 turns. So it's random. What I would like for them to do with that 3rd skill, if they could, I mean, it's barely anything to do this. But you could tweak it to where it's just like, what it should be is like, if the enemy is not asleep yet, do it for 1 turn, right? But if the enemy is already asleep, guarantee that it goes to 2 turns. I feel like people would appreciate that more. So if it's like, the Fire Succubus has already gotten, has already attacked all the enemies, and everyone's asleep, and then Arya goes right afterwards and uses the 3rd skill, everyone immediately goes to 2 turns. I feel like that's better, right? But, whatever. Reducing attack speed, obviously, the enemies move slower, meaning that they're getting out of that sleep debuff much later in the fight, which is obviously good on your end, and with being able to do damage with like the 2nd skill, it's really good. Glancing, right? I don't really care about the glancing, but it could be useful. I could see situations where it's going to be useful. Plus it's AoE glancing, that's the thing. That could actually, never mind. You know what? That could be really good because here's the thing: glancing, like sometimes even I forget it, is like glancing is not just for preventing critical hits from happening. Glancing affects everything, like obviously the damage incoming plus the ability to land debuffs on enemies. Like you genuinely have a harder time landing debuffs when you're glancing. Obviously, glancing, if the enemy can make you successfully glance them, which means it's just if you glance an enemy, you will not land any of your debuffs. You just won't. So that's a pretty big deal, actually, if you think about it. But pretty chunky skill 3. Plus, we get the arena HP lead of 33%. That's not bad. What are all their she has the speed one. Huh. Okay. Dang, okay. Dude, here's the thing. For what you're using her for, you're using her for a very, do I say niche? Is like using her for a very specific team, right? She's not going to be something you're going to use like tons and tons and tons. But when you do use her, obviously I think she could do a good job. When you do use her in PvP, because you're going to use her in like guild content or arena or RTA or whatever, it's just like she's going to perform well. I mean, she's going to be able to do some damage. She's going to be able to put the enemies to sleep. The glancing is going to be really good. The slow is going to be really good. The turn manipulation on skill 1 is going to be really good. But if you're like... God dang it, man. I have to... For what she is, for what you're using her for, I think she's like an 8 out of 10, right? But for what she actually is, and it's just like her versatility and all that, even in just PvP, I don't know, dude. Do I just say like 5 or 6 out of 10? I just don't. Maybe people are using her tons. But I just feel like it's like, if you're running her, you're running tons of other succubuses. You're not just running her alongside a normal Joe Schmo team. Right? You've went full succubus. You've went like vampire revenge or violent something or whatever, vampire will or something like that. Just self-sustain. I don't know. I'll be honest. It's just like, I don't... If I had her, I don't know if... It would be a while before I ever brought her out of the storage. But again, for what she does, I'd say 8 out of 10. But for what she actually is, I'm going to be like 5 or 6 out of 10. She's not a bad unit at all. It's just... She's very specific. Like, not considering the sleep. Let's assume you're like, oh, I don't really care if she fucking puts the enemy to sleep. Skill 1 doesn't do anything except maybe once in a while she'll get 50% extra attack bar because she will eventually put an enemy to sleep, even if that means you're just waking them right back up with a different unit. Skill 2 is Disturb HP Recovery. And then maybe you get that damage increase dependent. If you bring like a Heart Magician, maybe, or Hypno Meow. I don't know if one of them sleeps the enemy. This one is attack bar or attack speed reduction in glancing. Again, this is all assuming that you're just waking up the enemy right afterwards. I don't know. I'm going to stick with like... My overall rating is going to be 6.5 out of 10. Not exactly... It's not exactly crazy, right? Especially out of the choices we have today. She's not bad. I don't think she's awful. It's just like she's very specific, right? She's very specific. There are some units that you just take into one place and one place only, and you don't use them anywhere else, and she's like kind of like that. You bring her into a succubus team, and you don't really take her away from that. I could be very wrong, but other than that, what is her runes? What would I rune her? Obviously, Violent Will is going to be the very first option. You could go Revenge. You could go Vampire on her, which would be ironic. But main stats would be like Speed, Crit Damage, HP for me. But I know other people would probably go Speed, Crit Damage, Attack. Would not be surprised if someone went Attack, Crit Damage, Attack. But let's see. Okay. What is this? Dude, this first comment. Do not listen to this dude. She's the best option for the second anniversary of Holly Heroes dungeon. Oh, wait, okay, wait. As she just makes TOA that much easier when fully skilled up. Okay, this was in 2016. Okay, dude, I didn't pay attention to the date. Oh, my God. Okay, I'm sorry for that one. I thought I thought that was like a comment like made today. I was like, okay. Great Holly Hero Monsters TOA, here I come. So people are getting her because of TOA. Okay. What is your build? What am I watching? It's okay. So you're using her for TOA. Give me one second. I'm sorry. I have to get some water. Okay, so you're using her for TOA. Right? What is your build? What are you doing? Okay? Like, I'm sorry. I'm going to be a little nasty here with my words. This build, attack, HP, what? Dude. I don't know what your build is. I mean, you probably know better than I do, but it's just like, she has no speed. She has some accuracy. But it's just like, what was the point of going attack? Because it's like she's not gonna really do too much damage. I mean, what are your substats on her? Crit damage 14%, attack percent, or attack 14%, resistance 14%. How did you manage that? Crit rate, defense percent, HP. Okay. This was like probably your best rune out of all the runes here. I'm gonna fix your runes for you. Get a slot 2 speed despair rune. Go crit damage here with the revenge. So get speed slot 2 despair, crit damage slot 4. Change these around to give yourself more crit rate. Don't really care about the crit damage. Keep the accuracy. Get yourself some speed. Forget getting attack percent in there. You can get attack percent in the substats if you need to. You'll still maintain around 1,000 attack and get over 20,000 HP if you would do something with your runes. Dude, life drain plus 21%. Skill 1 accuracy. Additional damage by 31% of speed. What is 31% of what was it? 123? Is that 123? Jesus. Bomb damage. Crit damage taken. Additional damage by 72% of speed. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being rude, but it is... I don't even know what that build is. Still the best option for 2024. Yeah. Okay. Speed, attack. Dude. Double attack? So she's not tanky. Why didn't you go crit damage? We're not talking about this anymore. We're moving on. No more looking at the debates. Okay? Usage. Other than scenario. Arena. As I figured. Okay. LD only account. I don't even know what these teams are. This one I can get because of the enemies to sleep. So it's just, this is a stall team, right? It is a Arya and Praha to stall. I don't know why Royd is there. And then Skull comes in and just does whatever he does, a big old damage. I don't get this team at all. I don't know why she's there. Unless your Arya's really fast and she's putting everyone to sleep, but at this point I'd say just like switch Arya out for the what was her name? The Fire Pierrette, where she has an AoE strip and then a stun or whatever. Bring her instead. But this looks a little bit more normal, but this is still LD only. I was waiting to see the full Succubus team. Trial of Ascension. People were using her in Trial of Ascension. So TOA. But really, Arena's the only place people are using her, and I don't know if I'm seeing teams that I would use, right? It's like, I would have went full succubus or something like that. Anyway, statistics. Despair Focus. I can get it because there's skill 3. Despair Revenge, Despair Focus, Despair Energy. I mean, let me tell you something. When it comes to PvP, most units in PvP, I think all units that use in PvP, even like damage dealing units, you'll find always is at least having some sort of, like, there's always going to be violence somewhere on this like list, right? Violence always going to take up at least like 20%, right? Somewhere on the list, right? It's never like despair, 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 focus, despair, right? When it looks like this, I feel like you can kind of tell that it hasn't been used in a while, right? It's like we can get a random unit. Heck, you. Maybe we could get you. Statistics. Violent. Look at that. Violence on the list. Let's get another random unit. We'll get you. I don't know if I've heard too much of you. Violent. It's just like most units tend to have some set of violent on them, especially, again, if they're just PvP oriented. Maybe I'm just, again, talking at my ass, but it's just, it's all despair. I guess it's because people are mainly using her in TOA, but even in TOA, I would still throw violent, right? It's like, for example, like my Dark Grim Reaper, Thrain. Yeah, you could throw him on despair. It really helps. But I have him on violent because I like him violent proccing a lot. Even if he has the attack bar increasing, it's like I'd like to see him take like 3-4 turns. Slot 2 speed, correct. Thank God. Slot 4, okay. HP, defense, attack, crit damage, okay. And then HP, accuracy, attack, and defense. There are 2 ways I'd say you build her, and then we're gonna move on from this after. Jesus. You either build her one of 2 ways: speed, crit damage, attack, speed, crit damage, HP, or speed, crit damage, HP, right? You could also build her just straight speed, HP, if you don't mind losing a bit of the damage. But it's speed, crit damage, and then it's either attack or HP. So, I don't know. This is just... we're going to move on to the next unit. So next up is Gwilym? I don't know. I'm going to call him Gwil. Or Gil. We can call him Gil. But Gil, first off, has an arena attack power lead. Not bad. So I guess he's going to be kind of PvP oriented, maybe. But skill 1, attacks the enemy with a 30% critical rate bonus and stuns the enemy for 1 turn with a 20% chance. Harmful effect rate goes up by 30% when fully skilled up. So, I wonder... yeah, he is the exact same when it comes to, like, for, like, Jean, right? Where, I think, do all these? No, just some of them. So, he gains a crit rate bonus on all of his damage dealing skills. So, you don't, that's kind of good, because it's like, when you do build him with some crit on him, you're not going to have to worry about building too much. You ever try and build a unit, and then after you put on all the runes and you upgraded them all to plus 12 to see what it kind of looks like, you're like, oh, I have the best crit damage ever. I have the craziest amount of attack on them. Pretty good speed, pretty good everything. But their crit rate is 70%, or it's like 67, or it's 68, or 69. With this guy, you don't got to worry about it. With this guy, you can leave him at 60% because he's going to get 30% from passives, right? Which will pretty much get you at 90% crit rate. So you'll crit every single time and still do massive damage, right? So stunning the enemy, skill 1, not bad. I mean, I think all of them pretty much have this same thing, yeah. Which, nothing to complain about. It's really helpful. Plus, again, you can get some pretty decent damage. Skill 2, surprise visit, attacks with a 30% critical rate bonus and stuns the enemy if the attack lands as a critical hit, which that's going to happen a lot. And additionally, inflicts damage that ignores all damage reduction effects. That is good. That is really good. Oh my, that's actually not bad. Ignores all damage reduction effects. Huh. I don't know why. Does the... okay, yeah, he has that one here too. So they have the same skill too. Yeah, this is really good. Ignores all damage reduction effects. I want to try this. Is it Steel Fortress or Punisher's Crypt? I want to try that in one of those places. I would like to try them there because they have the damage reducing effects from their passive. So I would like to see if he's really useful there. But his passive is probably the biggest thing about him, where he increases his critical damage by 100%, and then increases the chance of receiving a glancing hit by 30%, and gains the invincible effect for 1 turn if you're attacked with a glancing hit. So increases the chances of receiving glancing hits. Plus, if he does get hit with a glancing hit, he becomes invincible. Not bad. Huh. So, one thing I want to look at is back to Jean. So, Jean and Gil, is what we're going to call him, are really similar. Because Jean deals 100% more damage if the enemy has higher HP than you, right? He deals 100. He has 100% more crit damage if just naturally. There's not a requirement for it. So this guy can shit out some damage. Huh. Plus the arena attack lead. You're gonna probably bring speed for arena. So, that's he. You know what? Obviously, let's just. You can use him anywhere, really. I mean, I already see potential for Kairos, like some places in Kairos. I want to try him in at least Punisher's Crypt. Light Dungeon. I could see him being used. Definitely Light Dungeon. Oh my god. I wonder if that works with the shield, because I know the shield reduces damage received. Huh. And then obviously in PvP. So already, it's just like he's outdoing Arya in just terms of versatility, but his build, I could see people going violent. I mean, violent, you're going to throw in anything. I think at this point I might as well stop saying violent, because everything can use violent runes. I see Rageblade. Rageblade or Fatal Blade early on. One thing to remember is with his kit is don't worry about your crit rate, right? He gains 30% crit rate on all of his skills. Get to around 50-60% crit rate in like subs, and then focus mainly on the crit damage or attack percent or HP percent or whichever you have to survive, right? So let's go to monster info. So let's see if we can find a recent one. Somebody said messy. It's okay. Please check mine out. This is what a good one looks like. He meant to say like. Let's see. Is this what a good one looks like? Let's see. So it's fast, so I could tell probably slot 2 speed, right? Yep. You have okay attack. You have okay crit damage. And he's fully skilled up. So I like that slot 1. I could tell that you definitely went. Oh, I didn't notice the 14k HP. I like that. I like that a bit. I feel like I would like to see where all of your sub stats are. Crit damage, HP percent, speed, attack percent. I cannot complain with that. Again, with this guy, it's like you don't have to worry about crit rate so much. It's like you don't really worry about his accuracy, because it's like you don't really care about the stun. I mean, he guarantees a stun on his skill 2. Skill 1, who cares if he actually stuns on the skill 1. So you don't need accuracy. You're going to go crit damage, HP. It's either you go attack percent or crit damage percent, or you go any of the tanky stats or the speed stats, depending on what you're using him for. Clearly, you're using him for PvP. But I like this slot 1. HP percent, attack percent, crit rate, crit damage. I like it. And speed. And this is... So you're going ally resistance plus 10% and then vampire. First of all, drop the blue rune. Drop the blue rune. That's all I'm going to say. Stop it with the blue runes. But if this were not a blue rune, I like the speed, crit damage, defense, crit rate. Yep, like it. Crit rate plus 3%, Brother, you better be... Okay, let me tell you something. You better be selling those blue grindstones. I know you're getting those blue grindstones. Or even the gray ones. Or the green ones. Sell them. Stop saving them. Stop saving those blue, green, gray ones. Sell those. And again with the blue rune. But, okay. Crit rate plus 3%. Whatever. Speed, crit rate, attack, HP. Dude, could you not farm anymore? Dude. And then I guess HP percent here. Should just went attack percent in my opinion, but other than the crap load of blue runes and the gray grindstones being used here, I guess this is kind of what you might aim for a little bit, but I didn't. I like your reasoning. This guy's reasoning is I almost picked Arya, but this guy can one-shot her, okay? I mean, you pick the unit based off of just their utility, right? Or their usability. But I'm going to ignore your build for a couple reasons. 81% crit rate for what reason? Crit rate don't go higher than 100%, so unneeded crit rate. Resistance plus 22%. Okay. Okay, yeah, we're not playing these games. I'm confused. You're on Rage Blade, but... Oh god. We're not playing this anymore. We're not doing this no more. We're moving on. Look at this shit. Tell me what the problem with this is. I was like, something's off. My eyes are seeing something. I don't know what's happening, but I hate this room for some reason. First off, 5-star rune. Second off, 65. It's 65% crit damage, and it's gray. It's a gray rune. Blue. Green. Get out of my face. Get out of my face. And this was recently. 2024. Big Hoss. Get your ass in the dungeons. Big Hoss, get in Necropolis now. I'm not asking, I'm demanding go back into Necropolis. Go back to farming. Delete your opinion. Delete your opinion. Usage. Oh, we never talked. Well, actually, no, we said what he would be used. He could be using Arena. He could be using Kairos. I see Light Beast. Yeah. Light Beast. Man. Fucking. You could try seeing how he acts. I'd like to see him. Like, imagine like a team. Like, for dragons, right? You could use, you could use him in Giant's Keep. Because he is, especially Abyss, because he only ever has one-shots. But, like him and Jean, like Gwyll and Jean, and then the rest of your team has AoE attack bar reduction, you might be able to pull it off. And then the other beasts. Okay, statistics, Rage Blade, Fatal Blade, like I mentioned. Vampire Revenge, I would like to see what people are using that with, or for. Rage Will. I guess Vampire Revenge is probably the guild content. Attacker Speed, yep, I agree. Crit damage, heck yeah. Attack, heck yeah. Gwillium, whatever. I'm giving this dude, I'd say an 8 out of 10. I'm giving him an 8 out of 10. I mean, he's very simple. Damage, stun, and potential to stun. Damage, will stun, and ignores all damage reduction effects. Big damage and chance of receiving glancing hits. He's really simple. But when you bring him for a specific job. And that's to shit out just tons of damage. And he's going to do that. He will not disappoint you when it comes to damage. We're going to definitely pick this guy. I'm saying you should be picking this guy. I would say, hey, just do what you want, and you can. It's a game at the end of the day. But pick Gwyll. I think this video is pretty much useless. It's pointless. I mean, Gwyll is a pretty obvious choice. I don't think Arya should even be 10% considered, unless you already have Gwyll. And even then, I'm like, hey, just get a second Gwyll. I'm joking. Fill out the Pokédex. But I think Gwyll, you choose Gwyll 10 times out of 10 over Arya. I mean, he's so much better. Using so many more places. Just use him. Just use him. But, I don't know. I'm sorry for the laugh wheezing thing. I'm a bit sick, congested. And, that people are on some shit today, okay? I don't know what it is. That Grey Rune threw me. I couldn't handle it. I'll see you guys in the next video. You like, subscribe, whatever. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. We're going to use them later this week, I promise.